Hey cats, EDDBUD here. So the first quarter of 2021 is in the bag. Here are the top 5 shoes that I've tested out so far this year. Tested out quite a number of shoes already this year. Here are my top 5 in rank order. These are from my opinions from the initial review through to this point, so I haven't just gone on the initial review scores, I've gone on my gut feelings. Just before we get into the main part of the video, guys, if you haven't done so already, please think about hitting that subscribe button and also the notification bell below so that you get notified about new videos. Also, it helps the channel out immensely if you give this video a thumbs up like. First up, shoe 5. In 5th position, it's the Nike ZoomX Invincible Run Flyknit. You might be surprised to see this shoe in 5th position. I have to be honest, I have a love-hate relationship with it already. It's quite a dysfunctional relationship, I'm not sure it will last. One run leaves me feeling blistered and bullied by the shoe. Other sessions, the legs feel Lazarus-like and barely used. It's like a puzzle box or a mystery that I just cannot solve. One day it feels like I've solved some of that mystery, but the mystique is still there the next day. Certainly an expensive shoe, this one. It'll clear out your earth credits in no time, but it is a shoe that's worked for me for a couple of different reasons. Those days when your legs just feel like lead and you're not sure you can get out there. Put these on and you can make it through. And on some of those easier efforts, they do really lessen fatigue, so it leaves you feeling a little bit fresher for the sessions in the days ahead. Once mastered, the midsole certainly has its very own character. It's not like ZoomX in some of the other Nike offerings. And I have to say, grip is great, but I can't say I really enjoy that padded upper. It's just too much there. I might try and open up some of these sections and take the foam out. It just scrapes into the top 5, a little bit like when Indiana Jones grabs his hat just before the stone door slams shut. In position number 4, we have the Adidas Adizero Takumi Sen 7, a beautiful shoe in terms of performance and looks a little bit like me. A glove-like fit, and a very careful and subtle improvement on the Takumi Sen 6. A superb shorter distance model for me, this one. I've enjoyed using it on intervals and speed sessions. I really like those speed sessions at the moment. I watched a video about Prefontaine the other day, and it's kind of helping me to get through this limiting kind of brick wall of pace. I think about Pre and that just makes me want to run faster. That guy he was a god. I'd really love to test this shoe out on the track when it reopens here in the UK. Such a light shoe as well. It's just got the essentials there. Nothing else. It's like when you go shopping with a very distinct list and you don't go to Aldi and come back with some arc welding equipment. Certainly not one for runners who are looking for lavish cushion. It's a very conservative light strike midsole with a little boost in the forefoot. You'll want to use that boost as well because standard light strike on its own, it's tough stuff, topped off with vicious protrusions on the outsole, on the bottom of the shoe. I think one for courageous connoisseurs of punishing pace. I do recommend going up a half size. This is one narrow long boat, but a beautiful one nonetheless. Shoe 3 is actually 2 shoes because I love them so much. The Reebok Floatride Energy 3 and the Puma Velocity Nitro. Both of these are great priced and great fun. And that's what you want in a running shoe, right? You don't want it to be boring or just the same old thing. Why would you want that? These bright and bubbly offerings have some real range to them over different paces. And I find it really hard not to recommend both of these shoes to you, as they have very, very few drawbacks. Weight-wise, spot on around the 300 gram mark for my UK size 11, US size 12. Great underfoot cushion and lockdown that puts more expensive shoes to shame. I bet you can all think of a shoe that's just very expensive that has particularly poor lockdown. I can think of a whole array of those actually. The Nitro foam in the Velocity Nitro has some real rebound. Certainly more rebound than Beast, that's for sure. That cat has very limited athletic qualities these days. I do think that could actually benefit someone that has a slightly longer stride. The slightly lighter Reebok Energy 3 has a little more flex to it in the midsole, and it does feel a tad more cushion to me, so a little bit more forgiving, but equally good upper feel. And it looks tremendous, this shoe. I really do think it looks beautiful. Look at that. It's a work of art. I think if you had to choose between the two, I'd put it down to outsole, in fact. The Puma outsole is just ridiculous. It's going to take ages to wear that bad boy down. Look at the grip on that. There's some real depth here to the lugs in the forefoot too. I think at under £100 each, it's absolutely mad not to test out one or both of these. Position 2 is the Nike ZoomX Vaporfly Next 2. I've got to say I was a little tentative about picking these up at first. You guys remember I discussed them in a running shoe yay or nay, and I thought, keeping the same midsole, same outsole, just updating the upper, it better be good. And it was. It makes a big difference actually to me on foot. I always found my foot sliding around in the Vaporfly Next with that Vaporweave upper. Those are distant memories now though. Now they've replaced it with this chainmail style stuff, the suit of armour mesh. It's a lovely thing. Oh, it still smells good as well, like a fine wine. Very containing and a very breathable upper. On top of that, tried and tested SM57 midsole and outsole. SM57 and the 58 are sort of industry standard microphones that you've probably all seen somewhere on TV footage and on stage and concerts and things. That's what this feels like to me now. It's the industry standard. Who's going to go for anything else? I mean, some of these new super shoes, they're really going to be that good? I think the overall colourway here in the Proto version is absolute fire. For those of us who are more subtle communicators, I would suggest it's a rather fine looking piece of footwear. The other reason I've ranked it highly in my top 5 of the year so far is the fact that Nike have cut down the shoe price, here in the UK at least, to 209 Earth credits. That's a 30 Earth credit saving from the original version of the Next %. It really does make some of them recently released models seem very overpriced. For me, it's still the master, the Thierry Henry of racing shoes, relegating the others to Chris Sutton levels. He had one good season, didn't he, when he was playing with Shearer? So big drum rolls and all that jazz. Top spot is that outstanding breath of fresh air from Under Armour, the Flow Velocity Wind. A kick-ass shoe that really did come out of nowhere. You've got to be honest, there hasn't been loads of hype-beasting, Instagramming, double website image, best, fastest this week ever shoe hype-beasting going on with this one. On foot, a really lovely fit. Very reminiscent of the Saucony Endorphin Speed upper, and a responsive ride, straight from the running gods. These helped me today on the mile repeats to get down to around about 6 minutes 30 per mile, which isn't too bad considering my sleep-deprived, very tired body. Or was it the short shorts and vest combo? I shall let you decide that one. Little to no wear on the Flow outsole thus far. It's looking pretty good. I'm really loving the grip delivered by the friction fins. The price isn't too prohibitive either, and I'm very excited for this midsole material to appear in future Under Armour shoes. Perhaps there's a race shoe on the horizon. Let's hope so, Under Armour. Let me know, because I love it. Let's hope Under Armour can magic something up, perhaps minus the built-in tech to lower the weight even more. So certainly the best I've tried out so far this year in 2021. What are your current top 5 running shoes in 2021, viewers? Let me know in the comments below. Hit me with those lists like digital Ian Drury's. Ladies and gentlemen, a musical interlude. I think it's only right that we have a track today called The Wind from Cat Stevens. I'm really loving Cat Stevens right now. Saying about the really pure acoustic guitar tones. The wonderful voice is so warm, it feels so open, and you just can't help but listen, it draws you in. I always like with Cat Stevens tunes as well, they're very careful about the amount of instruments used. The tone of the different instruments always complement what's going on. His voice is the key thing there, just sitting in the middle with the guitar, and then they embellish it with some carefully chosen stuff. You can go and have a meal, can't you, in a big restaurant, and they just chuck loads on the plate and it takes away from the key elements. Then you can go to a really nice restaurant and they just put very specific things there that complement the main part of the dish. I also like the dynamic nature of Cat Stevens' guitar. On something like Moonshadow, for instance, it starts off very, very calm, very quiet, and later in the track he really ups the ante. I did notice they remastered T for the Tillerman last year in 2020, and all the tracks sound really crisp now, really beautiful. Some of the older CD versions that were available during the 90s and the noughties really weren't mastered that well, but this new one sounds really, really nice. Polished and pristine, but still with the warmth of the original tracks. So go chill out and listen to some Cat Stevens. I think you'll enjoy it. Right, cool cats, it's time for me to hit the road. I'm not going to hit the road at all. I'm going to go down and have a bit of sustenance. I'm starving to those mile repeats earlier. Really need some food. Thanks for sticking with me to the very end of the video, guys. I very much appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when I launch those new videos. And it really helps the channel out to grow and get out to more viewers if you give this video a thumbs up like and also share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you